Okay, in this little segment, I want to show you how your hands and bones work like this. If you take from where the wrist breaks here, when I say breaks, I mean where it bends, okay, the two arm bones, and then there's the cluster of the wrist bones here. So if we are looking at the hand like this, we're seeing the basically the radius coming down here, and it ends here, and then you have the cluster of wrist bones, okay, and I've shown those in another video, and I actually have a diagram right here to show you. So we have the arm bones, and then we have the wrist bones, and then we have the metacarpals, and then we have the phalanges. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is what happens when you fold your hand down like this, okay, from here down to here. And so I'm just going to draw one metacarpal, okay, and it starts here at the top of the hand and goes out and ends here, and roughly they're just, you know, they've got their own bony shape, but I'm just going to draw them basically as spheres-ish, bony spheres. So this part here is the metacarpal, starting at the wrist bone right up to the knuckle, okay? So if your hand is straight, and of course this next bone is 2/3 the size of this, so if I cut this into 3 pieces and take 2 of them, that's the size of the next segment. So I'm not sure exactly how my measurements are going to be here. So let's say that's 3 and that's about 2, that's good. And then we would take the next segment, and the next segment is 2/3 of this. And then the last segment, which is this, is 2/3 of this. So, you know, everything is 62% of the previous bone. And so here's the last tip of your finger like that. Okay, so if I've done it right, yeah, I did it actually very, very close. So half of the hand goes from where the wrist breaks here to the fingertips. Now, when you fold your hand like this, you take that measurement here, and it's longer now. It goes past where the wrist bends. And why is that? So let's have a look at that. So when this finger bends down, it's like the knee, actually, if you understand how the knee works. This rolls down, and let's keep our measurements the same here. So about to here, rolls down to here. Then we add the next bone, about this long, and then we take the fingertip and add that there. So now, instead of measuring from here to here, from here to here, when you bend it down, if you add the top bone, it hasn't moved. You've just slid this whole thing down like that. Now you're measuring from here to here, and you're actually adding this much thickness to the length. So now, when you measure from here to here, it's longer than from the wrist to the middle of this knuckle. Okay, so this actually rolls over this bone. It just slides around that bone like that. Okay, so just understand that the bones haven't changed length or anything like that, just how the bone works. And actually it's like taking well, I'll use this and this as, have I got something a little bit shorter here? Well, no, why don't I just use 2 erasers here? So what is happening is you've got it this long, and then it rolls over and adds that whole thickness to the length because it's rolling over. And that's kind of how your knee works. When your leg folds under itself, your kneecap is right here. it stretches open like that, and your leg comes back and sits on when you're standing up. And the bone actually folds underneath the other bone like that. And so that's what your finger does. So there you go. Now, when you bend that, you understand that this knuckle, it rolls down, this bone slides down like that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. It's a bit of a detail, but you're trying to expand your knowledge of the hand, so let's cover every aspect we can. So this would be the radius bone, and I don't know how to draw the radius bone. I don't have it memorized. The shape of it, I don't think many artists do. So this is the radius. This is the wrist bones here. And then you have the metacarpals here. Metacarpal. And like that. And then you have the first phalange, or we can just say the first segment of your finger, the second segment, and the last segment, which is your fingertip. Okay, and then so that we'll call this 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, and then it folds under, and one moves into this position. 1, 2, and the fingertip is 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And if you understand this, it actually helps you to be able to draw the hand from imagination into any position. Okay, so that's an important little thing to know. Okay, well, let's stop there in this segment and we'll continue on.